Hey guys, Jake here. We're at Pear Tree Ranch and I want to introduce you to Mr. Cody. And the reason that he's here is he's one of our Pear Babies. And this is going to be a getting to know the Pear Baby session. He's been brushed up, saddled, moved just a little bit to check the cinch. And him and his brother Drift were just on the road with me for about 2 months. And we traveled all over the East Coast and the Midwest and back again. And this one is the extroverted of the two. He's busy. And the other one is kind of the introverted of the two. And what I want to do with these getting to know the Pear Baby session is give you a chance to get to know the different horses that I have, and you get to see some of their progress and where they're at. And that way, if you start falling in love with one of these cute guys, you can start thinking about what would you have to do to have one of them be your forever partner. And it can be a fun thing to get to know my horses and follow along with their stories. And I enjoy sharing with you guys the process, because these are the horses I get the most excited about doing, because I get to have them for a long time. They are my horses. I just have these ones for the process and purpose of turning them into someone else's forever horse. So let's start getting to know Mr. Cody. He's 3. His birthday, I believe, is April 29th. His daddy is a grandson of Mr. Gunsmoke, who's a very famous stallion. And his mommy goes back to a horse named Joe Cody, which is to help tell the two horses apart. One is goes back to Joe Cody, and the other one, his mommy is a daughter of I'll Drift, who's one of the other stallions in the Gene Monch performance horse breeding program. So you see the brand on the hip, that's GM, and Gene lives in Indiana, and he's been breeding these horses for 40 years. And I got to know Gene 5-6 years ago, and I had trained some horses that he had bred for a friend of mine, and enjoyed the horses and was told, man, you really like these, they're just your style, they're cowy enough, but they're sturdy enough to really work, nice ranch horse style, great breeding, you ought to check them out. So I went to visit Gene, and the first little horse I fell in love with was this little red mare, and I actually have the first colt out of that mare. Now, his name is Rubicon, so you'll get to see him one of these days. And it took a few years, shoulder please, thank you, for us to kind of build this program up, because it takes time to raise these horses and allow them to grow, and where we can really get to do some training versus just life skills. Okay, so the first horse that I got that was for me was Rosie, and she's also 3. She's standing right over here in her pasture, and so she's the same age as these boys, and she was kind of meant to be the demo model. And then the first horses that were going to be the product are now 2-year-olds. And Gene, in wanting to retire from doing all the work breeding and raising these babies, found my friend Rebecca. Or she got to be my friend because of Gene, and she's taking over the breeding program and continuing on with the core group of mares, and she's got the stallions. And so she had a couple of young horses, Spike, and then these 2 bay boys that then gave me an opportunity to have some product sooner rather than later, and they hadn't been messed with, so I still got to do the start on these horses and give them the Pear Baby treatment. So that's kind of the backstory while I get this horse moving around and warmed up. And what you've got to see is he really looks, he really watches that flag, okay, but he's kind of learned to be less strikey with the front feet. And again, that's just a horse's nature. There, so you can see that little look. And instead, he's just kind of learning to move off. Okay, so I try to be thoughtful to not make him feel like he needs to strike it and give him time to think. And if he kind of does make a choice I don't like, he kind of then will run into a little more pressure and go, dang it, I didn't like that I chose that. Okay, it's like ordering ice cream and you realize you wished you'd ordered a different flavor. You just kind of make a new choice. I mean, not that there's ever a bad flavor of ice cream, but you get the idea. Okay, so nose, neck, shoulder, ribs, hip, stand still, forwards, backwards, right, left, up, down, stand still. So we started with stand still and getting saddled. And when we got here, we were standing still while we kind of said hello to you guys. And now we're working on forwards and backwards. We did some walking and trotting. And then we're working on little bits of rights and lefts by pushing the shoulders. See, I allow them to come back and connect. Drift the shoulders back out. Just a little leg yield on a circle. And it works on that spot for him right here that he kind of can be sticky. And it's right up under the base of the neck. Hi, buddy. Good. So what I like about this horse, he might be extroverted and busy, but he also connects a lot. You see that when he works cows, which we've got to do a few times, not a lot. Okay, you see it in how he watches the flag and watches me. And so now that they kind of have a nice base of some groundwork skills and a good base of riding skills, we're really starting to be able to do some fun things with these guys. So again, I'm just kind of going over my bare minimum list while I chat and share with you guys. I want them to be able to walk, trot, canter softly on a 12-foot line. I'd like a horse to be able to work laterally with their head down and relaxed. I've kind of done it off the fence and on this circle. I've done some sideways. Once they kind of get comfortable here, I might start challenging him with getting noisy with this. See, he kind of chose to slow down and check in. He got a little disunited with the hind legs. See, as that gets going, he's kind of going, I'm going to slow down and check in versus racing off. Again, this is a learned behavior, something that I've taught him to do. And it's an important thing for me that when the pressure comes on, I'd rather they think more versus get more worried and sell out. Okay? Just do a little sideways on this fence. I want him to lead with his nose, then neck, then shoulder, ribs, and hip follow. Nice and easy. I like that he then turns and faces and kind of checks in, waiting for the next thing that we could do. And like a good dance partner, he's kind of looking for what do I want from him, and then how could he take that movement and roll with it. I don't want him to just be a robot and only do what he's told. I want my horses thinking. That's what I like about these horses. They're that way naturally, but then we can help bring that out more and more and through our training program. Good boy. Okay, we're gonna do our burpees. So we've done stand still with the head down with the flag. We've done walk, trot, canter on a 12-foot line. We did sideways along the fence. We're gonna do our horse burpees, where they know how to kind of get themselves out of that bind with that rope behind the horn there or over the withers. You can be confident working close to me without smashing me, which I appreciate. Let's check our cinch here. Check a little back up. I want to be able to just, with a finger, just kind of push, float them backwards, relaxed. Okay. So to me, this horse is ready to ride. Got my lovely assistant, Jane, here. Can you grab me that Snapple bridle just hanging on the fence there? So I like starting all my horses. Thank you very much. In a hackamore, and that works with all the groundwork and preparation that I do with the halter and lead. And then, depending on who the horse is for, if they're for me, I might continue on in the hackamore and just take them straight to the 2-rein when they're going well enough and they're grown enough to handle that spade bit in their mouth and not ever need a snaffle. That's kind of something that I've been playing with for my own horses. But for these horses that are going to be for other people, I really like getting them going in a snaffle bit so they understand that, are confident with that. So these horses don't have a ton of riding with it, but I did start them in the snaffle while we were on the road. And now the last 3 weeks or so, these horses have just been off. So this is actually going to be my first ride back on this horse for almost a month. And I'm just holding this slobber strap and just trying to hold it in my hand and push to see if he wouldn't let me just softly push him backwards, okay, without too much fuss. And he fussed a little bit. That's because he's busy with his nose. Okay, and I don't mind that because he didn't fight me. He just kind of found his way to getting comfortable. Let me put all that dirt on my saddle. Okay, so now, is he kind of ready for me? Can I pull him off balance? The answer was no. Can I step up? Oh, and sit. I don't want to mess up our mic wire in my pocket. So, we're in the round pen because it's an easy thing to set Kathy up on the truck and in the shade of an umbrella to be able to film and stay close where you guys can really see what's going on. But these horses have been out and riding all around. I've had the fun of getting to ride them on multiple facilities through our travels. We were in Wisconsin, Illinois, Virginia, Michigan, and some of those spots we were twice. Okay, and so they got to get used to, they had the opportunity to get used to being at new places, coming out, getting to work, and not having it have to be a big deal. Okay, so what you're seeing me do here is we're going and woeing. I haven't woed yet, so let's just take our legs off. Notice when that came off, I'm not pulling, my hands were set, and he just stopped himself and rebound back. That's great. That makes me smile and go, what a good boy. Okay, especially considering he hasn't been ridden for a bit, and I didn't have to have a lot of feel on his face to achieve that. That's just a nice little rebound there. So going and woeing, and then you saw me start fiddling with tipping his nose and his neck. So I'm just picking up the reins, and I'm working on, can I close my hands and take little feels of his nose and neck and shape it, okay? And if I can tip it to the right and have it be soft, okay, then could I bring this leg on and start riding him laterally out to the fence, little leg yield, which sets us up in a position for beginnings of some shoulders in. Okay, and so I'm going to hold my hands over here to the right. That holds the shoulders in. Then my right leg rides the right hind to the left front, right hind to the left front, right hind to the left front. And these hands then are just lifting, and I want to try to be here eventually. In the beginning, I'm going to be here to help him feel the difference of the two reins. Okay, and I'm always trying to just have one working while one is soft. Okay, so we've got that right bend. We're able to leg yield him out. If I lift, he's starting to drop his head and relax. I want him to just carry that softly and relaxed, and then start following that around. So now we've increased from tipping the nose and the neck to starting to, can we swing the shoulders there? And then maybe I set him up, change the flexion, and leg yield him to the right with my left leg. Okay, I'm fixing this rein there so it's very set, and he can then be confident in where the slack is going to be. so he can start holding himself there versus me managing him there. The outside rein here, this is just going to close softly to impede the forward so that I can close this and slide over to the right. Okay, set up here. I'm gonna close this, which slides me over here to the right. Now, notice I don't want to pull him out here. I was holding my hand out so you could see me close it. I'm gonna close it and keep it here relaxed and quiet at the saddle horn while the left leg does the work to push him over there. Okay, and I'll just bring the leg and then the spur if necessary until he kind of finds some comfort scooching over. Okay, I'd like to just press, but I might need to teach him so that he's prepared for lots of things, that if I go bump, 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 that I could herd him over with my leg. Okay, it's not as polite as just quietly pressing, but if I bump, 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 and he can scooch over and not take offense or flinch or worry, that means I'm doing my job prepping him for the rest of the world. Okay? So with the setup now of that nose, neck, shoulder, ribs, hip, those leg yields, that starts getting us ready for some nice serpentines, so I could slide him out to the left, release him with the left rein to choose to turn right, change the flexion, leg yield off the left leg to the right, release him with the right hand to allow him to turn. Notice this hand has stayed steady and my legs are just squeezing. Okay, so I'm not turning him. I've set him up to choose to turn. This says no turning. Then when I release it forward, it says yes, you can turn if you want. Okay? So that gives us our serpentines. Then I can start saying, could I just set my hand here, ride him out onto the circle with the inside leg. So this is giving him the idea to think to the right. It's not pulling and pulling and pulling, it's just fixed there, so he has open space under here. And then that brings his nose in. Then my right leg can just keep him on this arc. Okay? Now what this starts setting up is, then when that leg comes off and this rein goes, that we could start leading him around. Let's go the other way with those front feet. Okay, the left leg on, I've got him thinking left, and then when the left leg, you should be able to see it now, come off, then I can start leading him around, and then this right leg could push if I need to give him a little more encouragement. Okay? All right, let's pick up the pace here. Start cruising around. So I'm gonna again keep a little bit of a feel here to just not let him get lost, and if I can, I'll give him the reins, but I'm not gonna allow him to just go around with his head wrong, but I also don't wanna manage it. I wanna kind of get him going and then leave him alone. I like my horses to be confident and relaxed enough to stretch like that. And then when they can do that, they're really leading forward with their nose and neck, and I can start shaping them up later to start bringing the weight off the front end and shifting it back. Okay, this is going good. Let's pick up the pace. Chick-a-dum, 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 dum, dum, chick-a-dum. We're rolling, babies. Nice. Now we'll kind of sit up across from you and get ready to stop. And he's like, I'm ready. Okay, and that's just genetics, guys. It's just good genes. I'm not talking about Wranglers. They're ready to stop. So again, here, I'm just looking for a feel of him where he can relax at the trot. There we go. There we go. Just turn him loose to feel comfortable, and confident there. And then if the head starts coming back up, I'll just kind of get in the game there till I can leave him be. Now, he was ready and he's thinking, oh, we're going to canter, and I just don't want him to be rushed to that. So we're going to just trot for a minute to not make him feel like he's got to be overly ready to go. He's got plenty of juice in the tank. He doesn't need any help getting fired up from me. Again, you see me slide, to take a feel. I like that he can just kind of be there. Now that we're kind of hitting this nice rhythm, we'll start thinking about, good boy, loping off. Again, this horse has not been touched. About 3 weeks ridden, first time ridden in almost 4 weeks, and he can just kind of come in and get to work. And he's 3. He's got about 35 rides on him. That's a great little warm-up and kind of a quick picture of who he is and how he moves and how he thinks. And then we can start playing and fiddling with some of the fun stuff, leading the front feet around, looking for a little rhythm with that. 2, 2, 2, 2. Watch him hopping, stepping forward till he can just, there, easy, we're not rushing off. Thinking about a little more swing and flow, getting more confident. There we go, with the reach of that left front foot, where it comes out and around a little more, loosened up. Again, we're setting the foundation for spins. I'm not a reining or a cow horse trainer, but I can set these pieces up so then you could take that and go to a sport trainer and really have some fun. Atta boy. Again, a little more forward into that. He's got plenty of backwards and draw back. I want to be able to ride him forward and out of it to keep those front feet driving forward. That'll help build with his speed. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Here we go, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. There we're starting to get a little flow and gas pedal. There's nice, okay? There's some fun little stuff that we can play with. Keep him loose and feeling good. Hope this gives you a picture of Cody, who he is. I did some chatting with you about the breeding program, how we kind of came to be here with these Pear Babies. And what I'll do is I'll keep going along and sharing each horse and who they are and where they're at and some of the fun things. And we'll continue to be able to do more videos with Cody and show you his ability to ride out in the arena. We can start working him on the flag, swinging a rope at some cows, trail riding. We'll even see if we can't set up where you could follow along with the drone and watch me really take them out for a nice hack. So we got a lot of fun stuff that's coming and available to you. So make sure you're checking out all those pieces. Depending on where you're watching this, make sure you're finding us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and doing all the liking and subscribing stuff. If you're following us along on Patreon, we appreciate you there. That's a great space for our supporters to keep up with us and get really exclusive content like courses. So make sure you're checking all those things out, seeing all the ways that we can kind of help you along in your journey, and I hope you're enjoying watching these Pear Babies. I'm Jake, we're at Pear Tree Ranch, and we'll see you next time.